All right, hello. I am back again, just from a short break, and I guess I should talk a little bit about the recent COVID bill that was signed. It was actually signed last Thursday, and I had some reservation about it. It wasn't that I didn't think it was going to pass. I just thought that it would take a little bit longer, obviously, with the debate and the fact that it had to return to the House of Representatives after being voted on by the Senate. And so there were just a lot of issues and hangups. Also, the whole parliamentarian rules that had to be followed by that were chose to be followed by the Democrats, which made no sense to me. But just on the surface, the bill is $1.9 trillion. It really had no bipartisan support in either chamber, except for the fact that 8 Democrats voted against it. And so it really is something that is quite remarkable that the bill did get passed, but it's not what the media, or at least the mainstream media, is calling it out to be, and that is that it is some sort of transformative bill for America. I think that you really have to look at the bill uh, in detail to understand what really is going on. A lot of the measures, and especially some of the funding that the Biden administration seeks to spend, really is money that isn't particularly going to go to COVID in 2021 or even 2022. A lot of the money is going to be spread out across the board to different various agencies and things like that. And even if you look at some of the incentives or benefits that are in the bill, most of them are only temporary. Most uh, of the funds that are getting to individuals, like $1,400 checks, which is down from the $2,000 that was promised by Democrats and Joe Biden and uh, and his supporters and allies. Also, the unemployment benefit is also uh, down from $400 to $300, and so a lot of the crux of the bill on things like that, which should be something many more people are talking about, really are things that haven't been talked about in such a way that many people need to understand that most of these things are just temporary. And so, just to understand what is going on with these bills, people have to look at the detail of them. And most of it is the fact that many of the things that progressives wanted were not intentionally given. And so, what you have to look at more specifically is the fact that is what you have to look at is um, the overwhelming consensus of those on the left, or even just the broad spectrum of Americans who really would like to see something um, done, in particular with the minimum wage, which was not increased to $15 minimum to a $15 minimum wage, and also the fact that there was no Medicare for all, which now is being put forth in a separate bill by in the House, and also the fact that many of the like child tax credits and things like that, which have been increased, thankfully, are only going to be for 2021. So it is a lot of good in the bill, but I don't think it goes far enough. The fact that many people are styling this after some New Deal style bill, or even the fact that they're trying to style it as Joe Biden himself is a new FDR, I think is completely almost laughable in a sense, and it's not something that really I'm taking serious with this current administration and other things. And so we really have to look at more what's in the bill and what's coming out for Joe Biden. I don't think particularly much of it is going to go well unless they get a better handle on the coronavirus and the vaccines. that go along with that. And it seems like they are making progress with that with the Johnson and Johnson, and also Moderna and Pfizer are still keeping up their efforts with that as well. And so we're just gonna see a little bit about what more needs to be done with that. And so you have to really just look at what Joe Biden and the Democrats are putting forth in these bills, and much of it is just pork barrel spending and foreign aid and things like that. And so while the money is needed and it is relief, I don't think that it's relief that is going to be transformative in a way that many are purporting it to be. And so you really have to look at not only the fact that it's not going to end, you know, poverty or anything like that, or even half of poverty, which is just completely ridiculous because most of the people that experience poverty in the United States are children. And so um, you really have to look at the overarchingness of the bill and the fact that they are re-upping Obamacare or the ACA is just more proof that it's just more money that's going to go to the very rich and wealthy to the top instead of the people that desperately needed it in this time, especially during the pandemic. So hopefully more aid is to come, but I'm not looking forward or having faith in Democrats to do so since they could not get the $15 minimum wage done, which I kind of always thought was kind of a nonsensical thing because I heard of the parliamentary and things like that, but I always knew that some of the rules in the Senate could be overridden or some of the procedures could be taken in a different way. Most notably, most people thought that Bernie Sanders could do it through budget reconciliation, which is possible. However, um, what people fail to realize that the parliamentarian can be overruled by the vice president, who is in fact president of the Senate, but Kamala Harris stayed silent on that issue, and so I think the fact that the fight for 15 is still going on is just further proof that the Democrats are not the friends of the working people. They're not the friend of the vast majority of Americans who support a $15 minimum wage, not just in blue states, but also in red states, and with several states actually raising their minimum wage, and while the federal government still kind of lags behind. Just go to show that the Democrats can be in power, but they're not really out to make any substantive change. So, hopefully the fight continues on, but I think that it needs to be going in a different direction.